so we were in a room and there was like 10 of us and we each pitched, and I was surprised because it took all day long and I went second to last, but it was crazy because I came here with a novel and I planned to pitch that one and I had everything ready and I'd been working on it for months and everything, and through listening to the other pitches and kind of seeing where people were falling, and just kind of the business sense that Michael had, of like, you know, the publishing industry, I decided to completely change my plan. And it was nice because before I even gave the pitch, I, you know, kind of laid out the options in front of him and said, I have this novel with this and this and this, and it has all these things going on, and then I have this one, and here's why I'm thinking I should go here. And he was like, go there. And of course, then I said my pitch, and he said, well, that's never going to sell. I said, well, that's great. You know, and so it feels very like your whole world's being pulled out from underneath you, but it was good because at the same time you know that what he's saying is true, and I'd rather hear it from him than from an editor when it means more and it's like your job on the line in a sense. I'd rather know beforehand. And he kind of worked with us each to give us ideas, and the cool thing about our group was other people chimed in too. So I had a group of like 10 people who were all giving me ideas of ways that I could change things, and he's then chiming in saying, no, that will work, that will work. So yeah, the first day was rough. It was a lot. We, you know, went out after to continue working, and I couldn't think, so I had to like walk home and like process things and then come back. But it was really good, and I think, yeah, it was good. It was hard, but it was good. The first editor we met was Brendan, and he's Macmillan, and he was interesting because he, I mean, you know the agents and editors are people, but until you meet them, it's hard to think of them that way. So he came in and he kind of told us his backstory, and it was cool to hear like his credits, what he's done, but also, you know, the ways that he's struggled. And he was talking about being a writer and understanding that, you know, you may not have pages right now, especially, and he knows Michael too, so he told us like, Michael might have completely rewritten your entire novel and I might not get to see pages, which, you know, is true for half of us. Because, you know, we ended up pitching something that we don't have, and I am now pitching something that I don't have. So that's interesting and kind of nerve-wracking. But he was really cool. He sat on the table, which made me feel immediately more relaxed because, you know, I'm thinking, this is a whole weekend-long interview. Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. But, you know, he's in normal clothes or, you know, professional but normal clothes, and he was really, really cool. And getting to talk to him, he's a total nerd, and we all, like, I felt like I connected with him, even though I didn't really get a chance to, like, actually meet him, but he was very personable. Not what I was expecting at all, which was really cool. And I felt so much more at ease after meeting him, going into the next days of the other 3 editors, and I just finished pitching to the last one, and just felt so much more at ease, and just recognizing, you know what, they're people too, and just the same things, the same ways that you know how to interact with people in your daily life are the same way you would interact with them, and don't, just because they're this huge thing doesn't mean that they're not human. Well, I've definitely learned a lot about the publishing business. I was telling the girl I'm staying with last night that I feel like I'm seeing the business side of it and understanding what it's going to take to actually get published and to sell something. I feel like a lot of the time authors are kind of in this world where it's about the writing and you do it because you're passionate about it and you do it because but we don't have this in our heads as a job. Where, you know, because a job is where you go 9 to 5, you make money, and you live. But writing is a job. I mean, it's like that. It doesn't have the same hours. It doesn't look exactly the same. But you're essentially selling your imagination, which is a really interesting concept. But you have to know, like, whether you're, but that's the thing, is you're selling your imagination, not the story. So your imagination can shift, and what you're selling can shift, and it doesn't mean that you're a terrible person or your story's terrible or anything like that. And it's been kind of cool getting to have the support of the other writers throughout the process and just telling each other, like, you know, most of us are pitching something we didn't come with. And so, you know, telling each other, don't throw any of that away. I'm using pieces from the novel that I originally pitched and pulling them into this one because they work now. And I think, too, there had to be a moment when, like, Michael completely changed my whole plan. And I felt really unsettled about that because it feels like suddenly it's not yours anymore. It's and there was a process throughout this weekend of making it mine again, like making it my voice, my words, and getting excited about this story for me, not just because he was excited about it or just because it was going to sell, but excited because I want to go write it. And so that's something I've learned is looking at it from a business perspective and understanding like what's going to sell, but at the same time recognizing that this is a business, I'm making money, yet I get to do something that I love to do while making money. Yet I have to keep in mind what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. And if I can marry those two, what I want to write about and what will sell, that's when I'm going to have something that really will take